The Paperclip Murders. Chapter 1. Bleary, Vodka-Soaked Justice. A long time ago, I was born. As if that wasn't enough to put a bee in your bonnet, I had the unlikely honor of being born to a nun. And not just any nun, no, but to my very own mother. The police report would have said victim of sexual assault, but there was no police report, because the goodly matron of the nunnery where my mother lived, the Our Lady of Healing Hands, decided that neither she nor the nunnery could survive the scandal of one of her own being abused by a two-bit hoodlum on a cold, dark night in November. So nothing was ever reported. I was born in the secrecy of the church. My father never paid for his heinous crimes, and my mother, well, she was my mother. Her name was Rebecca Lynn Gray, and she was by far the most beautiful woman I had ever met. Childhood was and is a blur, but I remember being happy in her arms, and I remember that she never once raised a hand to me. I was taught by the nuns, who were strict but fair teachers, and I grew like a weed, as one of them occasionally put it. I was clever and perceptive, even as a scrawny youth, and I was constantly climbing into and out of some of the biggest heaps of trouble a boy could ever imagine. One day, I happened to turn 14, and it was like a light bulb had suddenly gone off in my face. I knew then and there, without a doubt, that I had to find out who my father really was and to bring him to justice. My mother was naturally heartbroken that such a young bird would leave the nest, but it couldn't be helped. My mind had been made up like an army cot, and you could bounce a quarter off my steely resolve and get back enough change for a cup of java. So with just a knapsack and a slice of my mother's famous rhubarb pie, I set out to find my father. 4 years of strenuous searching ensued, and I turned over every rock, hobo, hubcap, and moldering leaf, but I never was able to find my father. I found out a lot of other things, though. I found out about the world. I discovered boats, pubs, fast cars, high stakes, the feel of a dame on your arm and a snub nose at your back, the mob, the glitz of high society, the crawl of the gutter snipe. And above all, I discovered justice in all her bleary, vodka-soaked glory. Justice, the only dame that I ever really fell madly in love with. Somehow, with all this life going on, I managed to completely miss that saintly institute of learning we call college, but by that point I'd already found my calling, or so I thought. It whizzed by me one day in California as I was in Mel's Diner on Lakemont, chowing down a pastrami and rye I'd purchased with some hard-scrounged change. It wore a dark blue uniform, swinging a billy club around it like it was catching butterflies in a net instead of ruffians on the head, and it answered to the name Officer. Hello, Officer Colin. After that, it was only a matter of time until I walked into the local police station, answering an advertisement in the paper looking for new officers. Despite my never having been part of a fraternal order of beer-swilling, skirt-chasing pack animals, I not only passed all the entry-level exams they threw at me, I aced them, and with flying colors, too. After that, the academy, and then I was 19. My destiny, it seemed to me, was to right the wrongs that innocents suffered daily, to never again let anyone experience the kind of impregnation that had given birth to me, to boldly step in the breakfasts of criminals everywhere. The bus, my life. The destination, the halls of justice. I had arrived.